Tim D'Annunzio appeals to many in the Tea Party. How would you reach out to them? What can you do for people in the Tea Party who are angry about what's going on in Washington right now?
And I know they're angry, and many of them, in light of certain things that have happened, I've had phone calls from many of the Tea Party movers, if you will, that have said, Harold, we're going to support you, which is fine. When this is over, and if I win, if I'm fortunate enough to win and the people give me the honor of carrying the banner for the Republican Party, I would first address Tim, thank him for what he's done. But again, I'm not putting the cart ahead of the horse. Of course, you asked me the question, Dave. But then I would certainly reach out to his supporters because I will need their support. Tim even said, you know, I'll probably vote for Harold because he's a Republican and he can stop the chaos that's going on in Washington. And I hope his supporters. You work hard, 6 months, you support somebody. I know they like him. I know they support what he stands for. But I'm a conservative too. They need to know that. I don't want to throw. I'm not quite as aggressive as Tim is with things he wants to do, but I am a true conservative. That's what I am, and that's how I'll vote in Washington.
You mentioned in one of your campaign ads here that we are a country truly blessed by God. Do you believe there are countries that are not blessed by God? No,
not at all. I am a Christian, and I grew up in a Christian family. And we are a Christian nation, no question about that. And I do truly believe, I truly believe that God bestowed special blessings on this country, not only in the idea of people being free to make their own decisions, to create a business, to create jobs. And I truly believe that, absolutely.
President Obama has made it a point when he was elected to office in reaching out to people in the Muslim world, in the Arab world. Do you believe that's a good idea or a bad idea?
I think if you can reach out, and when I look at the Muslim situation, and I know there are Muslims that aren't of the violent nature. I know that there are millions of them around the world that don't want to see Americans killed, babies killed, body parts here and there, and for that reason alone, I don't think that's a bad idea. If we can reach out to the moderate Muslim, not the radical Muslim, because we must keep up our guard, but for the moderate Muslim to say, look, we can get along, we can coexist. You know, we don't have to hate each other. But for the radical element, there's no hope there. There are radical Muslims out there that want to totally destroy us, and we can't let that happen.
You mentioned John F. Kennedy when I asked you about a Democrat that you admire. Who is the person you most admire in the world of politics, living or dead?
Oh, it would have to be Ronald Reagan, because in 1986, when he came to Charlotte, and I had a chance to sit next to him for 45 minutes, and he was the most gracious man I ever met. And if you read the Reagan Diaries, and I've done that twice, it's such a revealing thing about the man, because he came along at a time after Jimmy Carter, when we had the great malaise that Jimmy Carter talked about, and Jimmy Carter just couldn't work with Congress because he brought so many of his cronies up from Georgia that just didn't work out. But Ronald Reagan, when he looked into that camera, Dave, and he said to the American people, just looking into the camera and saying, hey, this is America, and we can do better. And we will do better, and there was just an aura of confidence in that man. We don't have that right now in Washington. Sad to say, we don't have this, I don't think, from President Obama. I don't think he speaks with the great conviction that we need right now. But Ronald Reagan, when he looked into that camera, looked you in the eye, and he did that with me for 45 minutes, and I said to him, President Reagan, do you realize the American people love you? And he threw his head back and he laughed. He knew my name. He said, Harold, I'm honored to serve the American people. He had on this traditional brown suit. And what a truly great American he was. And he got this economy going again, too. I told you about the tax cuts. He believed in that. He believed in that individual freedom. Let the small businessman take over. Government doesn't solve problems, as he said. Government creates problems. Let Americans be and do what they do. Make the country great. And we did. We were great.
At the same time, there are people who say Ronald Reagan, he was a terrific communicator, but there are some who disagree and say he didn't take this country in the right direction, that he was a better communicator than he was a president. Do you consider yourself to be, a gifted communicator? I assume you do, because you worked in television. And how will that work for you on Capitol Hill? And what beyond just communicating can you bring to the job?
I think that's a very fair question indeed. Aside from the fact that I can look into a camera and speak, that may be wonderful and other, but it still comes down to the message. I'm different now. I'm not the journalist now. I'm going to be the legislator. I'm going to be the guy that's going to cast votes on very many key issues as well, and on which direction this country goes. So I think from that standpoint, I'm ready for that. As I said, I've got a degree in economics. I can talk the issues with you about economics from Lenore Ryan University, a great school, by the way. The Marine Corps experience as well. Plus, again, 40 years working with people, and I always took great pride in caring about people. I am very much a people person. If you are in dire straits or you need help and you call my office in the 8th District, you'll get your help. I can guarantee, and you'll be treated fairly. You'll never be treated rudely. I've heard cases where either somebody hangs up the phone or they start yelling back and forth. No, that'll never happen. Now, you're there to serve. You're called a representative. You're a representative. I'll be the representative, and I hope I can be following the footsteps of Robin Hayes, who did so well for 10 years. I'm going to be as good as Robin Hayes.
You do